All right, so this is, dang, what day is this? 4?
I think
Day
so.
4. Well, yeah, because even though that day of arrival was like a half day, we did a full day's worth of work. So, day 4 of the Chilean trip. And I know a lot of people are probably thinking, all you do is go around and hang out and drink hot chocolate. It is a vacation, so that's my only defense for that. However, today we're going to Curacautin, and we're going to go do some visitations, and Honors is going to explain a little bit about what that's about as we head out that way. All right, so
we're headed to see a family that we've been connecting with on a weekly basis for maybe a couple of 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been kind of discipling and teaching Bible studies to help them be prepared to share those Bible studies kind of in an evangelistic storying set with their community. And so today I was just telling Johan we need to stop for supplies. He said, "What supplies? What does that mean?" All that really means is there's a kind of a cultural norm that when you are coming to visit a family, usually you show up with something in hand. Bread, something to drink, something to contribute to what you'll be sitting around eating. So,
and we're going to have ma-tay today, yes? Explain.
I sure hope so.
Explain ma-tay real quick.
Ma-tay is a kind of tea. It's taken in a different way. Usually, you got your tea bag and stick it in the hot water.
Right.
In this case, you fill the entire cup with the tea leaves, and then the straining process takes place with the metal straw that you stick in, and it does the straining for you. It's kind of a social means of getting along as well, because what happens is you sit around, somebody's serving the ma-tay, and they'll fill the cup, hand it to you, you'll drink it till it's done, hand it back to the server, they're going to fill it back up and hand the same cup, same straw to the next person, and it just kind of goes in a circle as we sit around and talk about life and God and whatever else comes up. So it's a pleasant cultural thing. It doesn't exactly taste real great. It tastes like hay, but
that makes me look a lot forward to having ma-tay. Yes, I'm going to drink tea today.
But you're going to enjoy it, I promise.
We'll see. So we've been down here 4 days now, and I don't think I've had a chance to have Anders explain why they decided to come down and be missionaries in Chile for 2 years. It was like a 2-year mission trip, and he spent time in Costa Rica doing language training and stuff, but it was like a 2-year deal with the International Missions Board. Anders is just going to explain, and it's a really cool story. I love it when he explains it, because it's just one of those cool things to see how God works. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, and you ask God, he'll tell you, and that's pretty much what Anders and his wife did.
So the basis of the story has to do with things that God had kind of been putting in our hearts and stirring in our hearts for some time. My wife and I have had, since we've been married, kind of an ongoing discussion about just international interest, just caring about what's going on around the world, and have often asked the question of the Lord, so what's that about? What do you want to do with that, Lord? And we had on and off talked about, hey, well, there's this thing where we could kind of do some missions on a more short-term basis. Maybe we should try that out. And then we talk about it, and it would kind of fade in the conversation and come back up later. Well, the day my son was born, which now is a little over 3 years ago, we were sitting in the hospital. That whole context, just because it was quiet and the two of us were hanging there talking about life and everything, that conversation arose again, and we began to kind of say, oh, isn't that interesting, and so on. Also that day, because it was quiet, there wasn't much going on, everybody was resting, I asked my wife, where are you reading in the scriptures right now? Let's read together. And so just in the pattern of where she had been reading, she said, oh, I'm going to start Luke 10 today. Let's do that. Let's open up the Word and look at Luke 10. We start off at the beginning of the chapter, and it's Jesus preparing to send out his disciples into the towns and villages where he was to go. And we kind of looked at each other, hey, isn't that interesting? And we stopped for a moment, knowing the context of that passage, saying, hey, what do you think? Is God calling us to go? Well, then we look down at verse, is it 2 or 3? The very first word is go, exclamation point. And we said, interesting. Here we are talking about what we want to do in life and what God wants to do with us. We asked the question of, is it our turn to go? Do you want us to head overseas? And there was the first word. And again, we understand that was in the context for the disciples and so on and so forth. But we took that as a piece that fit in other things God was already doing in our hearts. And so what we actually did was finish reading that passage, put down the Bible, and picked up our laptop and started our application that very day. So here we are, and it's been over 3 years, and we're actually on the downturn, about to head back home, but it's been a neat experience.
There you go. You ask God if you should go, He'll tell you if you should go.